Yeah. Penny, let me ask you, tell us about this big warehouse in Marrakesh. What was going on there?
Well, it was just on the outskirts. It was manned by 3 fantastically talented Italians who I brought in, who'd worked in Morocco a lot. We had 50 tailors, 20 in the dye shop, jewellery makers, leather makers, cobblers, milliners. It was a proper factory, manufacturing all the costumes for the movie.
And where did you go for the influence of should we say this, Orientalism? It's pre-Islamic. Can you explain?
Well, there's a great deal of interpretation here, because we all started with the base of a book called The Orientalist, which has some lovely images. But, there's not a great deal of real research to be had from the 5th century. I tend to gather loads and loads of textiles around me from all over the world and sort of use them as my inspiration base. And, we mess things around with things. Like this is an Indian bedspread which is made up of 5 saris, and when you take the cheese grater to it, you get the interior popping out. So Alfred Molina's character, who was supposed to look like a sort of desert vagrant, I was able to get that effect by simply grating the costume.
Could you tell us about, for example, Tamina's outfit, this one here?
Well, this is Tamina disguised as an Indian slave girl. And the scene's particularly amusing because Jake's disguised as well in a sort of dress, which he thought was brilliant. It's a great costume to be wearing in 40 degrees because it's quite loose and there's not a lot of it.
So what goes into making such a costume?
This is about 5 or 6 layers of silk and chiffon with metal embroidery panels. There's a lot of components, probably about 15 different components, because you lay on top of each other to get the effect.
So when she's not being a slave girl,
she's ostensibly, we start the film, she's a sort of high priestess living on a hill with her in her temple. So we tried to create something that had a little shimmer to it, that was very beautiful and serene.
What was your design for Jake?
Well, a great big nod at the game, because this is kind of the beginning of the game influence. So this was made in Morocco by very, very talented craftsmen, and then reproduced in rubber. So he opens the film in this, in which, as you can see, he looks extremely powerful and impressive. And then as he goes on the journey, we alternate more into this with a little hint of burgundy as a flash when he's on the horse. This is kind of where we went.
How characters? I mean, how a lot of characters, it comes through what they wear, is it not?
It's a process, and the process is the director giving me his visual, and then I get in a room with an actor, and there's a third party in the room, the character. So my aim is at the end of my session with the actor that he looks in the mirror at himself and sees the character. So, that trio, the 3 of us in the room, is vital, because I don't want actors to wear things they don't like or they're not comfortable with. And, we work through it together.
Well, what about Sir Ben Kingsley? What was the design for him?
Initially, I just draped a few different colours and textures on him, and we decided quite quietly, the 2 of us, that his character would be a bit of a dandy. So he does have a lot of changes. And he doesn't get too messy. I didn't break him down that much because he wanted to remain elegant, and I think it kind of works.
A lot of the extras in the background, they're very interesting things. There were some look like Zoroastrian priests. Some look like Orthodox priests. Can you comment on the looks?
Well, because you're never quite sure where the camera's going to go, when you've got 700-800 people on set, I think you need a mixture and a kind of a little bit of interest here and there. So we just came up with these groups, and obviously I have to be very diligent because I don't want to find a maid talking to a soldier or a priest talking, to a wench. So there's quite a lot of control involved, keeping all the groups in their places.
Now, a lot of the film was shot in very hot temperature in Morocco. How did the actors manage in these costumes?
They're stoic. The people looking after them on set in my department take the top layers off when they say cut. So hopefully they haven't got the whole lot on all the time. But it was extremely hot and very uncomfortable, and they were all fantastic.
How much do you enjoy doing your work?
A lot.
How different is this film from the pirate movies, for example?
The actual organisation of these big action movies doesn't really change that much. I'm, very concerned about the stuntmen and what they need to do. So the kind of format is similar, but obviously the look is completely different.
As producers go, how does Jerry Burkheimer do it?
Well, he's fantastic. I mean, he gives me the opportunity to do these great big action-packed movies with loads of people in and tons of costumes, so I'm a very lucky girl.
It's a pleasure. Thank you very much. Nice meeting you.